As the 1970s began, automakers faced mounting pressures from new safety regulations, rising fuel costs, and evolving consumer demands. Despite these challenges, some manufacturers failed to modernize their designs, releasing cars that felt stuck in the past. These vehicles, whether due to outdated styling, lackluster technology, or poor engineering, were obsolete the moment they rolled off the assembly line. Here are 12 cars from 1970 that seem like relics of an earlier era, struggling to compete in a rapidly changing market.
Dear viewer, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your support.
The Plymouth Valiant was known for its reliability and practicality, making it a favorite among budget-conscious buyers. However, by 1970, its design and features failed to keep pace with changing consumer tastes and industry trends. Leaving it feeling outdated, the 1970 Valiant retained the sharp, angular design language introduced in the 1960s, with little effort to modernize its appearance. As competitors embraced sleeker, more aerodynamic lines, the Valiant's blocky shape looked utilitarian and uninspired. Compared to its 1960s predecessors, the 1970 Valiant featured only minor cosmetic changes, such as a revised grille and slight tweaks to trim. The lack of significant updates made it difficult for the car to stand out in an increasingly competitive market. While practical, the interior of the Valiant was bare bones, with basic materials and few amenities. As other manufacturers began offering more refined and feature-rich interiors, the Valiant's cabin felt Spartan and outdated. The 1970 Valiant was powered by a range of inline-six and V8 engines that were reliable but far from cutting-edge. With performance and fuel economy becoming more important, the Valiant's engine lineup felt old-fashioned compared to newer, more efficient options. Compact cars like the Ford Maverick and AMC Hornet, introduced around the same time, offered more modern styling and fresh features, leaving the Valiant struggling to attract younger buyers. The rising popularity of imports like the Toyota Corolla and Datsun 510 further emphasized the Valiant's dated design and lack of innovation. The Valiant maintained its reputation as a dependable car, with sturdy mechanicals and a straightforward design that made it easy to maintain. With a low starting price and modest operating costs, the Valiant remained an appealing option for budget-conscious buyers. Its compact size and simple design made it a practical choice for everyday driving, especially in urban environments. The 1970 Plymouth Valiant served as a reliable and affordable transportation option, but failed to capture the imagination of buyers seeking modern styling and advanced features. Its outdated design and minimal updates made it increasingly irrelevant in a market that was rapidly evolving. In an era when automotive design and innovation were moving forward, the 1970 Plymouth Valiant remained stuck in the past. While dependable and practical, its boxy styling, lack of updates, and uninspired features left it overshadowed by competitors that embraced the future. As a result, the Valiant became a symbol of practicality at the expense of progress. Number 11. The Chevrolet Nova had earned its reputation as a solid, no-frills compact car, but by 1970 it was beginning to show its age. While mechanically sound, its lack of innovation and styling updates left it looking like a relic of the mid-1960s, struggling to compete in a rapidly modernizing market. The 1970 Nova featured a conservative design with boxy proportions, modest curves, and a restrained use of trim. While functional, the styling lacked the sleek, aggressive look that was becoming popular with younger buyers in the muscle car era. Competitors like the Ford Maverick and AMC Hornet offered fresher designs that felt more in tune with the times. The 1970 Nova was largely a carryover from the third-generation design introduced in 1970-1968, with only minor cosmetic tweaks such as grille and trim updates. The lack of significant visual updates made it hard to distinguish from earlier models, contributing to its dated appearance. The Nova relied on the same mechanical platform and engine options that had been in use for years, including inline-six and small-block V8 engines. While reliable, these engines lacked the efficiency and performance refinements seen in some competitors. The interior of the Nova was functional but lacked flair, featuring simple materials and few creature comforts. As buyers began expecting more refined and feature-rich interiors, the Nova's cabin felt Spartan and uninspired. The Nova did not introduce any groundbreaking technology or features to set it apart from other cars in the segment. By 1970, buyers were starting to look for compact cars with innovative designs, advanced safety features, and improved performance. The Nova's straightforward engineering and proven components made it a reliable and easy-to-maintain car. Its simplicity appealed to budget-conscious buyers who prioritize durability over style. For those willing to spend more, the Nova could be equipped with a potent V8 engine, transforming it into a capable budget muscle car. The SS Supersport trim offered an entry-level performance option for enthusiasts. The Nova's compact size made it easy to maneuver and park, and its relatively lightweight construction contributed to decent fuel economy for the era. With a starting price that undercut many competitors, the Nova remained an affordable option for families and young buyers. While the 1970s Chevrolet Nova continued to sell well, it was increasingly seen as a car that catered to practicality at the expense of modernity. It was reliable, affordable, and capable in its own right, but its dated design and lack of innovation prevented it from standing out in a crowded market. The 1970s Chevrolet Nova was a dependable, no-nonsense car, but it failed to evolve with the times. Its plain looks, carryover technology, and uninspired features made it feel stuck in the mid-1960s, overshadowed by competitors that embraced more forward-thinking designs. While it remained a solid choice for the pragmatic buyer, it missed the mark for those seeking a more modern and stylish compact car. Number 10. The Dodge Dart had carved out a reputation as a dependable and affordable compact car, but by 1970 it was beginning to show its age. Its utilitarian design, lack of meaningful updates, and recycled features made it feel like a placeholder rather than a forward-thinking contender in an increasingly competitive market. The Dart's styling remained conservative and boxy, with little effort to incorporate the sleek, modern trends of the late 1960s and early 1970s. The design was focused on functionality rather than aesthetics, which alienated buyers looking for a more stylish compact car. While practical, the Dart's appearance lacked the flair needed to stand out in a market increasingly dominated by vehicles with dynamic, aggressive lines. The 1970 Dart was largely a carryover from previous models, with minimal exterior updates. Minor tweaks, such as a new grille and slight adjustments to the trim, failed to mask the fact that the Dart's overall design had been in place since the mid-1960s. Competitors, including the Ford Maverick and AMC Hornet, were introducing fresh designs, leaving the Dart looking dated by comparison. Inside, the Dart offered a no-frills cabin with simple materials and limited amenities. The dashboard and control layout remained unchanged, giving the impression of a car stuck in a previous era. Buyers who desired more comfort, style, and technology in their compact cars found little to excite them in the Dart's interior. Mechanically, the Dart relied on proven but unremarkable technology, including slant 6 and small block V8 engines. While these engines were reliable, they lacked the performance and fuel efficiency improvements that some rivals were beginning to incorporate. The suspension and chassis design also felt dated, providing a ride that was adequate but unexceptional. Dodge had the opportunity to refresh the Dart to compete with newer, more innovative compact cars, but instead relied on a formula that had worked in previous years. This reluctance to innovate or significantly update the Dart hindered its ability to appeal to younger buyers or those seeking more modern features. The Dart's simplicity made it one of the most reliable cars of its time. Its engines and drivetrain were known for their durability and ease of maintenance. The Dart remained an attractive option for budget-conscious buyers, offering a low entry price and relatively low operating costs. The Dart's compact size made it maneuverable and easy to park, appealing to urban drivers. It provided decent interior space for its class, making it a practical choice for families and commuters. For buyers willing to spend a little more, the Dart could be optioned with a powerful 340 cubic inch V8 in the Dart Swinger or GTS trims, giving it muscle car-like performance in a compact package. The 1970 Dodge Dart maintained its reputation as a practical and reliable compact car, but its lack of meaningful updates and uninspired design made it feel like an afterthought. While it continued to sell well to buyers who prioritize value and dependability, it struggled to keep pace with the more modern and innovative offerings from its competitors. The 1970 Dodge Dart was a reliable workhorse, but failed to adapt to the evolving tastes and expectations of the automotive market. Its utilitarian design and recycled features made it feel like a placeholder rather than a contender, leaving it overshadowed by more forward-thinking compact cars. For those who valued practicality and reliability above all else, the Dart delivered. But for buyers seeking style and innovation, it fell short. Number 9. The Mercury Montego was introduced as an upscale sibling to the Ford Torino, positioned as a mid-size car with a focus on comfort and modest luxury. However, by 1970, the Montego was already lagging behind in terms of design and innovation. Its bland styling, reliance on dated Ford platforms, and lack of distinctiveness made it a forgettable choice in an increasingly competitive market. The Montego's design leaned heavily on safe, conservative lines, lacking the visual appeal and boldness that characterized many of its competitors. It featured a generic grille, flat body panels, and uninspired proportions that failed to set it apart from other midsize cars. The market in 1970 was shifting toward more dynamic and expressive styling, but the Montego remained firmly rooted in the past. The Montego shared its platform with the Ford Torino, which itself was based on aging underpinnings. While this shared architecture helped reduce costs, it also meant that the Montego lacked any unique engineering or innovation. The chassis and suspension design were adequate, but did not match the performance or refinement of some rivals, such as the GMA body cars or the Dodge Charger. The Montego was offered with a range of engines, from a modest inline-six to more powerful V8s. While the V8 options delivered decent performance, they were overshadowed by the engines available in true muscle cars of the era. The car's weight and lack of aerodynamic refinement further dulled its performance, particularly in base models. Buyers looking for a sportier mid-size car often opted for the more aggressive and better-performing competition. The Montego struggled to establish itself as a distinct model within the Mercury lineup. Its positioning as an upscale Torino failed to resonate with buyers, as the additional trim and minor features did little to justify its higher price. Competing brands offered more compelling options with stronger identities, leaving the Montego to languish in relative obscurity. By 1970, consumers were gravitating toward more luxurious or performance-oriented midsize cars. The Montego failed to capture either trend effectively, offering neither the premium feel of a luxury car nor the excitement of a muscle car. Its inability to adapt to these market shifts contributed to its lackluster sales performance. The Montego prioritized comfort, with a smooth suspension setup and spacious interior that catered to buyers seeking a relaxed driving experience. It was a competent family car, offering a quiet ride and decent room for passengers and luggage. Mercury offered the Montego in a range of body styles, including a coupe, sedan, and station wagon, to appeal to a broad audience. Buyers could choose from various trims, such as the base model, Montego MX, or Montego GT, depending on their preferences and budget. Despite its upscale aspirations, the Montego remained relatively affordable compared to some of its rivals. This made it a viable option for buyers who wanted a mid-size car with a touch of Mercury's perceived prestige. The 1970 Montego is remembered as a serviceable but uninspiring car that failed to stand out in a crowded market. While it delivered on basic functionality and comfort, it lacked the boldness, innovation, and identity needed to capture the attention of a rapidly changing consumer base. Over time, the Montego became overshadowed by more distinctive and better engineered competitors, cementing its place as a footnote in Mercury's history. The 1970 Mercury Montego exemplified the challenges of relying on outdated platforms and uninspired styling in an era of rapid automotive innovation. While it offered a comfortable and practical driving experience, its inability to keep pace with market trends ultimately rendered it obsolete. For buyers seeking something memorable or forward-thinking, the Montego fell far short. Number 8. The 1970 Buick Skylark was part of GM's body lineup, sharing its platform with the Chevrolet Chevelle, Pontiac Le Mans, and Oldsmobile Cutless. While Buick intended the Skylark to be an upscale yet affordable option in the midsize market, its bulky design and lack of significant innovation left it overshadowed by competitors, even within General Motors' own stable. The Skylark's styling leaned heavily on large boxy proportions, with minimal curves or dynamic elements to set it apart. Despite a mild facelift, its overall appearance was conservative and uninspired, especially compared to the sleeker lines of the 1970 Pontiac Grand Prix or the aerodynamic updates seen in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo. The prominent chrome trim and heavy use of ornamentation further reinforced its old-fashioned look, which lacked the modernity buyers were beginning to demand. While GM equipped the Skylark with a range of engine options, from an inline-six to potent V8s, the car lacked the advanced engineering features found in rivals. The suspension and chassis design were carryovers from earlier models, offering adequate but unremarkable handling and ride quality. Competitors such as the Grand Prix featured more refined engineering, better balancing performance, and comfort. Within GM's A-body lineup, the Skylark failed to stand out. The Chevelle offered sporty appeal, the Cutless excelled in comfort, and the Lemons struck a balance between performance and practicality. Buyers often gravitated toward these alternatives, leaving the Skylark to occupy a less desirable middle ground. Buick positioned the Skylark as an entry-level midsize car, but it struggled to define itself in a crowded segment. Its attempt to blend luxury and performance resulted in a car that didn't excel at either. As competitors honed their marketing and design to target specific niches, the Skylark's vague identity hurt its appeal. By 1970, consumer preferences were shifting toward more stylish and innovative cars. The Skylark's conservative design and minimal updates made it feel like a relic of the mid-1960s. Buick's reluctance to take risks with the Skylark's styling and engineering left it unable to compete with fresher, more exciting options. The Skylark was available with several powertrains, including the efficient 225 cubic inch Fireball V6 and powerful V8s, such as the 350 and 455 cubic inch engines. For performance enthusiasts, the Skylark GS 455 variant delivered impressive acceleration and muscle car credentials. True to Buick's reputation, the Skylark prioritized comfort, offering a smooth ride in a relatively quiet cabin. It featured a spacious interior with high-quality materials for its class, making it a pleasant option for long drives. Buick positioned the Skylark as a value-oriented luxury car, offering premium touches like air conditioning, power windows, and upgraded upholstery at a competitive price. The Skylark benefited from Buick's reputation for dependable engineering, making it a practical choice for budget-conscious buyers seeking long-term reliability. The 1970 Buick Skylark represents a transitional moment in midsize car history. While it was a competent and reliable vehicle, its inability to innovate or captivate buyers left it overshadowed by both GM's internal offerings and external competitors. The Skylark failed to evolve with the rapidly changing tastes of the 1970s, resulting in a model that felt outdated almost immediately upon release. The 1970 Buick Skylark is remembered as a solid but uninspired entry in Buick's lineup. While it delivered on comfort, reliability, and engine variety, its conservative styling, lack of innovation, and overshadowed position within GM's A-body lineup made it a forgettable choice in a competitive market. For buyers seeking excitement or modernity, the Skylark simply didn't measure up. Number 7. The 1970 Chrysler Newport was a member of Chrysler's full-size lineup, aimed at delivering luxury and comfort at a competitive price. Despite these intentions, the Newport's design and engineering remained rooted in 1960s sensibilities, making it feel outdated in a decade that was increasingly moving towards smaller, more efficient, and performance-focused vehicles. The Newport was a massive car, spanning over 224 inches in length and riding on a 124-inch wheelbase. Its bulk made it difficult to maneuver and park, especially as urban environments became more congested. While this size contributed to a spacious interior, it came at the cost of poor fuel economy and cumbersome handling. The Newport's design emphasized large slab-sided panels and heavy chrome accents, which were hallmarks of the 1960s but felt dated by 1970. The front featured a simple grille and headlight arrangement, lacking the dramatic flair seen in competitors like the Chevrolet Impala or Pontiac Bonneville. Chrysler's designers seemed to focus on traditional luxury, neglecting the sleeker, sportier designs that were gaining traction with buyers. The Newport's standard 225 cubic inch slant-six engine was underpowered for such a large vehicle, delivering modest performance at best. While optional V8 engines like the 383 or 440 cubic inch units offered better power, the Newport was not marketed as a performance vehicle and failed to excite enthusiasts. Competitors in the same price range, like the Ford Galaxie 500, offered more compelling performance options. The Newport lacked many of the innovative features emerging in the early 1970s, such as advanced suspension systems or improved safety features. While it offered power accessories and air conditioning as options, these were becoming standard or more affordable in other full-size cars. The car's outdated drum brakes on lower trims felt inadequate, especially given its weight. By 1970, the market was shifting towards smaller, more efficient cars, spurred by rising fuel costs and changing consumer priorities. The Newport's emphasis on size and traditional luxury failed to resonate with younger buyers who sought sportier or more economical vehicles. The Newport offered a smooth and comfortable ride, thanks to its torsion bar front suspension and soft spring settings. Its spacious interior and wide bench seats made it an excellent choice for long road trips. As Chrysler's entry-level full-size model, the Newport was priced competitively, offering a taste of luxury without the premium price tag of its Imperial siblings. Buyers could choose from a range of engines, from the economical slant-six to the powerful 440 cubic inch V8, providing options for those prioritizing performance or efficiency. The Newport benefited from Chrysler's reputation for durable drivetrains, making it a practical choice for buyers seeking long-term reliability. The 1970 Chrysler Newport represents a car caught between eras. It adhered to traditional full-size car values, size, comfort, and affordability. But these priorities were increasingly out of step with the evolving tastes of the automotive market. While the Newport remained a competent and reliable vehicle, its conservative approach made it feel outdated in an era that demanded innovation and style. The 1970 Chrysler Newport serves as a reminder of a time when American automakers struggled to adapt to changing consumer demands. Its oversized dimensions, traditional styling, and lack of standout features made it a relic of the 1960s rather than a forward-looking entry into the 1970s. For buyers seeking modernity, efficiency, or performance, the Newport was simply out of place. Number 6. The 1970 Pontiac Catalina was part of Pontiac's full-size lineup, positioned as an affordable yet spacious option for families and traditional buyers. Despite its popularity within the lineup, the Catalina's uninspired styling and reliance on dated design principles left it struggling to compete in a market that increasingly favored sleeker, more innovative vehicles. The 1970 Catalina continued Pontiac's traditional design language, but lacked the bold, distinctive elements that characterized other models, like the Grand Prix. The front fascia featured a conservative grille and headlamp arrangement that failed to excite buyers. Its boxy and slab-sided profile resembled many other full-size cars of the 1960s, offering little to differentiate it in the increasingly competitive market. At nearly 18 feet long and weighing over 4,000 pounds in some configurations, the Catalina was a massive car. Its size made it cumbersome to drive and park, especially as urban areas became more congested. The hefty weight also hampered acceleration and fuel economy, issues that were becoming more critical as the 1970s progressed. The Catalina's underpinnings were rooted in General Motors' B-body platform, which, while reliable, was aging by 1970. Suspension and braking systems offered adequate performance but lacked the refinement of newer systems found in 1970 competing models. Drum brakes were standard on lower trims, a feature that was increasingly viewed as inadequate for a car of this size and weight. While competitors were introducing innovative features like advanced safety systems and improved suspension setups, the Catalina remained conservative in its approach. Interior options were comfortable but unremarkable, with minimal upgrades over earlier models. Features like air conditioning, power windows, and upgraded upholstery were optional, whereas they were becoming more common as standard equipment in other brands. By 1970, consumer preferences were shifting toward mid-size cars and models that balanced performance, efficiency, and style. The Catalina, while spacious and practical, failed to resonate with younger buyers seeking something more dynamic and modern. The Catalina offered a lot of car for the money, making it an appealing choice for budget-conscious buyers who needed space and comfort. Priced below higher-end Pontiacs like the Bonneville, it provided many of the same benefits without the premium cost. Buyers could choose from a range of V8 engines, starting with a 350 cubic inch engine and going up to the 450 cubic inch powerhouse. These engines provided respectable power, particularly for highway cruising and towing. The Catalina excelled in interior space, offering generous legroom and a wide bench seat that could comfortably accommodate 6 passengers. Trunk space was equally impressive, making it a practical choice for families and long trips. Built on GM's proven B-body platform, the Catalina benefited from solid mechanical components, which contributed to its reputation for durability. The 1970 Pontiac Catalina highlights a time when full-size cars were still popular, but were beginning to lose ground to more modern, efficient designs. While the Catalina had its strengths, spaciousness, affordability, and reliable engineering, its lack of innovation and outdated design language made it feel like a relic of the previous decade. The 1970 Pontiac Catalina was a competent but uninspired car that failed to adapt to the changing automotive landscape. For buyers seeking practicality and space, it delivered. However, for those looking for style, performance, or modernity, the Catalina fell short, leaving it overshadowed by more forward-thinking competitors. Number 5. The Oldsmobile Cutless was one of General Motors' most successful models, known for its balance of style, performance, and affordability. However, the 1970 Cutless, while a solid offering, failed to bring significant innovation to the table, relying heavily on the design and engineering principles of the previous decade. The 1970 Cutless featured a restyled front fascia with a split grille and quad headlamps, but the overall design was still firmly rooted in the 1960s. The body lines were smooth but lacked the bold, aggressive flair that competitors like the Pontiac GTO and Chevrolet Chevelle SS were embracing. Despite minor tweaks, the Cutless didn't make a striking visual statement, blending into the crowded mid-size car segment. While reliable, the Cutless's engineering offered little innovation compared to rivals. The suspension and drivetrain were carried over from previous models with only minor refinements, leaving the driving dynamics unchanged. Interior features and convenience options were adequate but not groundbreaking, with many features available only as costly add-ons. The base model came with a modest 250 cubic inch inline-six, which was adequate for daily driving, but underwhelming for enthusiasts. V8 options, including the popular 350 cubic inch Rocket V8, offered better performance but didn't stand out in a market dominated by muscle cars with more powerful engines. The lack of a truly high-performance option outside of the 442 lineup left the standard Cutless feeling like a mid-tier choice. The Cutless shared its underpinnings with other GM models like the Chevrolet Chevelle and Pontiac Le Mans, which made it less distinctive. This shared platform contributed to solid build quality, but also limited opportunities for the Cutless to establish its own identity. The 1970s brought a wave of bold, performance-focused designs, such as the Dodge Challenger, Plymouth Barracuda, and even GM's own Chevrolet Camaro. The Cutless, positioned as a reliable and comfortable midsize car, struggled to capture the excitement of younger buyers who sought more stylish and powerful vehicles. The Cutless was a practical choice for families and buyers looking for a well-rounded car that offered a mix of comfort and reliability. Its price point made it accessible to a wide range of customers, contributing to its popularity. The Cutless was known for its durability, with high-quality materials and construction that helped it withstand the test of time. Buyers could customize their Cutless with options like air conditioning, upgraded upholstery, and power accessories, allowing for a semi-luxury experience in a mid-size package. While the base Cutless was unremarkable, the high-performance 442 model delivered more aggressive styling and powerful V8 engines, appealing to muscle car enthusiasts. The 1970 Oldsmobile Cutless was a competent car that played it safe during a period of rapid innovation in the automotive industry. Its conservative design and engineering reflected Oldsmobile's focus on practicality and reliability, rather than chasing trends or pushing boundaries. While this approach kept the Cutless popular among mainstream buyers, it also limited its appeal in a market increasingly drawn to more dynamic and exciting models. The 1970 Oldsmobile Cutless exemplified the challenges of balancing reliability and innovation. It succeeded in maintaining its reputation as a dependable midsize car, but failed to make a bold statement or set new standards in its class. As a result, it felt like an upgraded holdover from the 1960s rather than a forward-looking model for the new decade. Number 4. The Chevrolet Impala, introduced in 1958, had long been a staple of the American automotive landscape. By 1970, however, the full-size Impala was beginning to show its age. While still a solid performer in terms of sales and reliability, its adherence to the design trends of the 1960s left it feeling outdated in an era that demanded modernity and innovation. The 1970 Impala remained a large, imposing vehicle that epitomized the land yacht era of American cars. Its oversized body made it less maneuverable and more difficult to park, a growing concern as urban areas became denser. The massive dimensions also contributed to its hefty curb weight, which hampered fuel efficiency and performance. The Impala clung to design elements like chrome accents, long overhangs, and broad horizontal lines that were hallmarks of the 1960s. While competitors were beginning to adopt sleeker, more modern designs, the Impala's aesthetic looked like a throwback, especially when compared to models like the Ford LTD or Chrysler Newport. The large grille and restrained updates to the body left it feeling uninspired rather than bold or luxurious. Mechanically, the Impala offered tried-and-true components rather than introducing groundbreaking technology or engineering. The suspension, drivetrain, and interior features were reliable but not cutting-edge, leaving it vulnerable to criticism from buyers seeking novelty. Even the optional features, such as power windows and air conditioning, were standard offerings in competing models by this time. The Impala was available with a range of V8 engines, including the 250 horsepower, 350 cubic inch V8, and the high-performance 454 cubic inch V8 of large displacement engines contributed to poor fuel economy, which was becoming an issue as fuel prices started to climb. While powerful, the engines did little to offset the Impala's bulk, making it less dynamic than smaller, nimbler competitors. The full-size car market was highly competitive, with models like the Ford Galaxy 500, Plymouth Fury, and Dodge Monaco offering similar or superior features at comparable prices. The Impala's lack of distinctive characteristics made it harder to stand out in this crowded field. The Impala was well known for its robust build quality and dependable mechanical components, making it a practical choice for families and long-distance drivers. Buyers could choose from a range of body styles, including a sedan, coupe, convertible, and station wagon, ensuring there was an Impala to suit most needs. The Impala offered a smooth, cushioned ride that was ideal for highway cruising, with a suspension system that prioritized comfort over sportiness. Despite its shortcomings, the Impala remained a popular choice among American buyers, thanks to its reputation and Chevrolet's extensive dealer network. The 1970 Impala marked the end of an era for Chevrolet's flagship full-size car. It continued to deliver on its promise of reliability, comfort, and affordability, but its inability to adapt to changing tastes and priorities in the automotive market left it feeling like a relic of the past. By the mid-1970s, Chevrolet began to modernize the Impala's design and engineering, but the 1970 model serves as a snapshot of a time when the brand struggled to keep pace with the evolving industry. While the 1970 Chevrolet Impala remained a solid and dependable vehicle, its dated styling, reliance on size and bulk, and lack of innovation made it less appealing to buyers looking for modernity and efficiency. It was a car that performed well within its comfort zone, but failed to push boundaries or set trends, making it feel increasingly irrelevant in a rapidly changing automotive landscape. Number 3, the Plymouth Fury was once a notable nameplate, celebrated for its affordability, size, and versatility. By 1970, however, the Fury had grown into a sprawling full-size car that struggled to remain competitive in an automotive market moving towards sleeker and more modern designs. The lack of innovation, coupled with uninspired styling, left the Fury looking and feeling outdated. The 1970 Fury featured oversized proportions with a bulky body design that prioritized size over sleekness. The excessive use of flat panels and long horizontal lines gave the car a boxy, uninspired appearance. Large overhangs, especially in the front and rear, made it look awkward compared to more streamlined competitors like the Chevrolet Impala or Ford Galaxie 500. Mechanically, the Fury relied on tried-and-true components without introducing significant advancements. The suspension and drivetrain were reliable but uninspired, leaving it behind competitors that were experimenting with more modern features. Inside, the Fury's cabin featured a plain dashboard and uninspired interior materials, which lacked the luxury or refinement found in similarly priced rivals. The Fury's size resulted in a heavy curb weight, which negatively impacted handling, performance, and fuel economy. Even with the larger V8 engines available, the Fury felt sluggish compared to leaner, nimbler models from competitors. While full-size cars were still popular, consumer preferences were beginning to shift toward mid-size models, which offered better efficiency and a more modern aesthetic. The Fury's traditional design failed to capture the attention of younger buyers who were drawn to sportier or more compact cars. The full-size market in 1970 was crowded, with models like the Chevrolet Impala, Ford Galaxie, and Pontiac Catalina offering more modern styling or innovative features. The Fury's plain appearance and lack of standout qualities made it difficult to distinguish from other, more compelling options. The Fury was offered in multiple trims, including the Fury Y, Fury, the 3, and the Sport Fury, allowing buyers to select the level of luxury or performance they desired. Body styles included sedans, coupes, convertibles, and wagons, ensuring broad market appeal. The Fury was available with several V8 engines, including the 318, 383, and 440 cubic inch options, catering to buyers seeking strong performance. The high-performance 440 plus 6 engine option, while rare, provided impressive acceleration for those who prioritize power. As a full-size car, the Fury offered a roomy cabin with ample seating for 6 passengers, making it a practical choice for families. The trunk space was also generous, accommodating large amounts of cargo. The Fury's price point remained competitive, making it an attractive option for budget-conscious buyers who needed a full-size car. The 1970 Plymouth Fury represents a transitional phase in the American automotive industry. While it was a reliable and affordable full-size car, its lack of meaningful updates and outdated styling left it struggling to compete with more modern offerings. The Fury's reliance on size and tradition, rather than innovation, reflected an industry still grappling with the changing preferences of consumers. The 1970 Plymouth Fury was a car that catered to loyalists of the full-size sedan market, but failed to adapt to shifting trends. Its bloated styling, lack of innovation, and heavy competition from more dynamic rivals left it feeling like a relic of the past. While it delivered on practicality and affordability, the Fury's inability to evolve prevented it from becoming a standout model in an increasingly competitive and modernizing automotive landscape. The 1970 Dodge Polara was positioned as a full-size sedan that offered a blend of comfort, space, and performance. However, as the automotive industry began to shift towards more modern designs and efficient engineering, the Polara struggled to keep pace. While it featured some appealing elements, its overall design and execution felt outdated. The 1970 Polara was built on a platform that felt like a holdover from the 1960s, lacking the refinements and innovations that competitors were beginning to incorporate. The design elements, while bold, including a prominent grille, did not mask the fact that the overall silhouette and styling were reminiscent of earlier models. The lack of significant updates in terms of body lines and proportions made it feel less relevant in an era leaning towards sleek and aerodynamic designs. While the Polara offered a variety of engine options, including V8s, it did not feature advancements in technology or performance that were becoming common in newer models. The suspension system and overall ride quality were adequate, but did not compete with the more refined setups found in rival cars. Compared to contemporaries that were beginning to adopt better handling dynamics and fuel efficiency measures, the Polara felt cumbersome. The Polara's boxy design, with its flat surfaces and minimal curves, was increasingly at odds with consumer preferences for more dynamic styling. Its large dimensions contributed to a heavy appearance that made it less visually appealing against competitors with more sculpted lines. The aesthetic lacked the sporty flair or modernism that many buyers were seeking at the time, especially with the growing popularity of mid-size cars. Inside, the Polara's cabin was spacious but largely uninspired, featuring simple controls and basic materials that did not convey the luxury or comfort expected of a full-size sedan. While it offered plenty of room, the lack of innovative features or quality finishes left it feeling dated compared to rivals that were incorporating more advanced technology and comfort options. As the automotive landscape evolved, models like the Chevrolet Impala, Ford LTD, and Pontiac Catalina began to attract buyers with their more modern designs and features. The Polara's reliance on traditional full-size sedan attributes, without significant updates, made it difficult to compete with these newer entries that appealed to a changing consumer base. The Polara was offered in multiple trims, including the Polara 500, which provided a sporty touch and allowed buyers to select their desired level of luxury and performance. A range of engine options, from the standard V8 to more powerful configurations, gave buyers flexibility and performance choices. The Polara's interior was spacious, providing ample room for passengers and cargo, making it a practical choice for families and long trips. The trunk space was generous, catering to consumers who needed room for luggage and gear. The Polara's pricing remained competitive within the full-size sedan market, appealing to budget-conscious buyers looking for a reliable and spacious vehicle. The 1970 Dodge Polara serves as a reminder of a transitional period in the automotive industry, where full-size sedans were struggling to maintain relevance amidst changing consumer preferences. Its bold grille and spacious interior were overshadowed by a reliance on outdated design and engineering practices, ultimately leaving it outclassed by more modern rivals. The 1970 Dodge Polara was a vehicle that attempted to cater to the full-size sedan market, but fell short in delivering the innovation and contemporary design that buyers were beginning to expect. While it maintained some appealing attributes, its outdated platform and features prevented it from standing out in an increasingly competitive landscape. The Polara's inability to evolve with the times illustrated the challenges faced by many traditional American automakers during this pivotal era in the automotive history. The 1970 Ford Maverick was introduced as a compact car intended to appeal to budget-conscious consumers. However, as the automotive landscape evolved, the Maverick struggled to keep pace with changing consumer expectations and the competition it faced from both American and foreign manufacturers. The Maverick's design heavily leaned on styling cues and proportions established in the 1960s, making it feel dated in an era where new and innovative designs were emerging. Its boxy shape and simple lines lacked the dynamic styling that competitors were beginning to adopt, leading to a more utilitarian appearance. Inside, the Maverick offered a basic, no-frills cabin that prioritized cost-cutting over comfort and style. The materials used were often low quality, and the overall design lacked the refinement and modern features that buyers were starting to expect. Dashboard layouts and controls were simplistic, contributing to a feeling of being behind the times compared to more sophisticated interiors in newer models. While the Maverick was offered with a range of inline-4 and V6 engines, its performance was modest at best, failing to impress drivers seeking excitement or responsiveness. Competitors, including import models, were beginning to offer more advanced powertrains that delivered better performance and fuel efficiency, leaving the Maverick feeling sluggish in comparison. The Maverick was stripped down, offering only the most basic features that did not cater to the growing desire for comfort and convenience among consumers. Options such as air conditioning, power steering, and advanced audio systems were either unavailable or offered at an extra cost, further emphasizing its utilitarian nature. As imports from Japan and Europe began to gain popularity for their compact size, efficient engines, and innovative designs, the Maverick struggled to attract buyers who were increasingly looking for more modern alternatives. The arrival of models like the Datsun 510 and Toyota Corolla showcased what consumers were beginning to prefer in terms of design and driving dynamics, putting additional pressure on the Maverick's sales. The Maverick was priced competitively, making it an attractive option for budget-conscious buyers who needed a basic vehicle for everyday use. Its compact size made it easier to maneuver and park, appealing to urban drivers and first-time car buyers. The straightforward design and mechanics of the Maverick made it relatively easy to maintain and repair, a desirable trait for many owners. Its lack of complex features meant fewer potential issues for owners, allowing for a focus on reliability. Ford offered various trim levels and options, allowing buyers to personalize their Mavericks to some extent, which provided some level of appeal in a crowded market. The 1970 Ford Maverick represents a compact car that was caught between the past and the future. While it was initially intended to meet the needs of a growing market for economical vehicles, it ultimately fell short due to its reliance on outdated design and technology. As consumers began to demand more from their vehicles, the Maverick's appeal waned, leading to a decline in its popularity. The 1970 Ford Maverick serves as a case study in how quickly the automotive market can evolve and leave even the most popular models behind. Despite its affordability and practicality, the Maverick's uninspired design, lackluster performance, and outdated features made it difficult to compete in a rapidly changing landscape. As newer, sleeker, and more efficient compact cars emerged, the Maverick became a relic of a bygone era, illustrating the challenges faced by traditional automakers during this transformative time.